So this video is a continuation of the last one where we threw the shooting options in Unity. So raycasting from a gun, shooting objects. So what we'll be doing in this video is we'll be opening this door here with a trigger click. So essentially going and activating some option next to the door. Could be a button, could be anything. So first of all, we need a script. So the script is to tie into our selectable object. So let's make the button that controls the door. So right click in your hierarchy, create the object. Let's make it a cylinder this time. So I'm going to put the cylinder over here, just kind of next to the door, so that this is the button I need to click. Then go to add component and let's make a new script. Let's call it select me. So with the script open, let's again remove the boilerplate here. Let's be using the Unity Engine.event system as well. So in the last video, we set up the key binding to press E on our keyboard so that we could use that in the input system. So we kind of need to tie into that. But first, let's just set up a public event. So public Unity event, we'll call it got selected. Now we'll be tying into when it gets selected. So let's say public void function select. So no parameters in this case. And we'll just, for the sake of simplicity, first write debug.log and then just I got selected. We also want to invoke our Unity event. So now back in Unity, you can see here that the event system is shown here. So we can list any events that we can trigger through this object here by interacting with it. So I've gone ahead and written a script called door open, which has an animator applied to the door that just takes this door box essentially here and moves it inside of the frame itself. So going into the gate small here, we can take our door open and add that to the list. It needs to know which animator to trigger, and the animator is on the door itself, so we can drag and drop that from the door to the animator. Just to go through the script fairly quickly, what it does is it has a public animator that it needs to know about. Then it has a public void method called open door that just plays an animation called door anim, and that door anim is just translating one axis, in this case the Z axis, and moving the door. So now what we can do is we can go into the cylinder here again, that is our current button. We can take the gate small and put that down into the event here. So click plus, drag and drop gate small into this empty field here. In the no function, we'll now select door open, and there should be the open door method that I built. So, but still we're not able to select this. So to do that, we actually need a selectable script. So as you could see, last time we made a script called the shooter. We will take this script and we will duplicate it. And instead of shooter1, we'll call it selector. When you open up this script, it's very important that you change the class name, and it really needs to be the same name as the file itself, otherwise you will get some errors. So now we'll start by renaming all of our stuff here. So layers to shoot is going to be layers to select. Then our shot distance is going to be our select distance. Camera is still going to be the same. Particles and stuff like that can still be the same, though the select sound might be different. So select sound. So this part here is the selector itself, so the input itself. So in this case, we'll change on shoot to on select. This is where it needs to correspond with the values that you've set up in the input system change that we made earlier. So in the earlier video, we'll leave values as they are, but we need to change, of course, this to be a select function instead. And of course, the debug should also be selected. So as you can see here, we now have a few things that need to be renamed, but most of the stuff is still going to be the same. We will change the select distance, however, to 2 meters instead of 25 meters. Down here in the new select method, we'll change the debug draw array here to select distance and color blue instead, or green, or whatever you might like. So change the rest of these as well. So because we changed the script on the other file, or we added that script to the other file, it's not a hittable object anymore, it is a selectable object. So it's called select me, and we'll call it a selectable object. And of course, if it has been selected, so if we have clicked it, selectable object.select, so that we trigger that function that we have here called select, where it then invokes our event. So let's save this file. So back here in Unity, I now need to select my player, so the player capsule that already has this shooter script on it, and I need to also add the selector script to it. So with the selector script added to it, we also need to give it the camera point of view, so main camera into the camera, and the hit particles and the sound, I'm gonna leave these empty for now, and we'll try to look at these layers in just a moment. Currently they're just set to everything. So now I'm gonna hit the play mode. So as you can see, I can still like shoot and hit objects. I can still shoot the box here. However, if I move into view here, if I hit E on my keyboard, you can see this little blue line that I get. So if I go to this object here within the vicinity of 2 meters, I can shoot it, but nothing's gonna happen. But if I hit E on my keyboard, the door opens. And then of course I would be able to go through that door. So you could then implement a timer and have the door close after a certain amount of seconds and stuff like that. If we exit play mode again, the layers themselves is essentially just to make sure that only different certain objects will interact with your functionalities. So for instance, if I say that the cylinder here is a very certain type of object, I can add a layer right here. I can call them selectables. So if I go back out here, I set the selector right down here. You can see it's currently set to everything. So if I remove, it's set to, let's say, only selectables. So nothing and then selectables. Now this selector is only going to work with the selectables. So I won't be able to do anything else with this, then go and open that door. So if I move over here, I can still shoot it and stuff like that. And I can then hit E on my keyboard and currently nothing happens. So this is because if we look at the cylinder, this layer hasn't changed. So if I change that to selectables, currently like in play mode, I go back here and I hit E. Now the door opens. So the whole deal here is that you can then layer differentiate the different functionalities that you might have. So this also concludes our raycasting, shooting, and selecting objects and interacting with them. Thank you for watching, everyone.